Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? What's up with you? What's going on? Hope everybody doing good. I hope everybody doing well. On tonight, pieces and blessings to you all. What's going on? What's going on? Shalom to everybody out there. Hope you tuned in. I'm not going to be on here like super long. Like, I don't have no long breakdowns or nothing like that. I just want to get straight to the point. And I just really want to kind of bring some things to you. Just kind of give you some thought, something for you to pay attention to. And maybe it will bring some light and shed some light on some things within our community, as well as in America, period. You know, it's no secret what's going on when it comes down to many of Negro descent who are awakening to a Hebrew heritage or a culture, and so it's kind of becoming a problem. It's kind of no different. When there's a lot of things come on the scene, the early first century church, after the post-Nicene Council, there was a lot of things that went on that they didn't agree with. Just all kind of stuff popping up, heavy Gnosticism, a lot of those different things that they had to deal with, Zoroastrianism, Roman polytheism, different things like that that was going on during the time. And so, whenever you have these things going on, there's always a wheat and a tear within these different awakenings, or different, as many would call them, movements. And so I kind of just want to point some things out. I had time to kind of chill out a little bit and whatnot. And so shalom to everybody for tuning in and whatnot. And so I kind of been, earlier I was kind of I had a frustration. Those of y'all know me, I'm kind of one of the type of people, man. I just kind of let things kind of build up. Some people, they just attack and go off. Me, I'm the type of person, I kind of see some things, and it just build up to where you can't take it anymore. I try to be a very balanced person. I try to be merciful, or as you want to say, or display a level of grace. I try my best of my ability as a representative of the kingdom of the Most High, and a follower of many you would call Jesus Christ, within many of the Hebrew contexts, or community, we would say Yeshua or Yahushai or whatnot. So y'all know who we're talking about. So I try to be as balanced as possible, and whatnot, and try to walk in a level of compassion as much as possible. But sometimes to get to a point to where, if we're going to be representatives, and I'm not dealing with titles on tonight, any of those things, if we're going to deal being representatives of this kingdom, all of us, no matter what side you stand on, what you identify as, we all hold this Bible. I believe we all have a care and a love for people, and wanting them to make sure that they're getting the best they can doctrinally, and all of these different things. And I'm going to kind of deal with some of those things on tonight, as I discuss and we kind of look at these things. We all seem to care. We all believe that the Messiah is the Messiah. He's the only way to the Father. And we all believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of the King, and whatnot. And so And when I'm saying we all, I'm not speaking for the entire Hebrew community. I'm speaking from just my perspective as well as the community that I'm a part of, that we all call each other balanced Hebrews or Hebrews with the Holy Spirit or the Ruach, shall I say. So this perspective, I'm speaking from the community that I'm a part of within a Hebrew community, the same way you have those within the Christian community and you have those who are Protestants. You have those who may identify as Baptist or Pentecostal or some form of Protestant. They may all not agree, but within our community, we have, in the Hebrew community, we all don't agree either. Many of us hold dear within our community, within the community that I'm a part of, we all believe in what is called, many call the virgin birth, meaning that Mary had no sexual intercourse with her husband before she was espoused or before she was married to him. Let me use just basic terms for those who may not understand. We hold true to that. We believe that the Ruach, that the Father sent his Son into a virgin. And many of those who are within the community don't believe that. And so it's very imperative that we understand this. And if we're going to be one who of truth, we have to make sure that we display those. And I said, if we're going to be about truth, okay, we have to make sure that we owe it to the people that we're dealing with and that we're teaching, that we owe it to the people to know that there's a difference. All right, know that these are certain things and certain teachings and differences. And we also know, and we also owe it to the community not to be a respecter of persons, meaning this. And many of you know for a long time, even some of you on here watching, some of you inbox me, some of you call and text and say, Brother Majors, you're just too hard on the Israelites. You're just too hard on the brews. It seems like every message that you're talking about, it's like you're not even talking about the Christians, none of what they're doing. You're just always banging on us. I mean, come on, man. Do you not see what they doing? They teaching this and they teaching that. And I have an obligation to make sure that those in my house, if they're acting up, not according to the scriptures and according to what we believe is written, I have an obligation to say, brother, that is wrong, just like you have an obligation to tell me. But it also comes a time that if I'm going to also, because I'm also within the Christian community, many of the Christians on the other side who oppose my connections to the Christian church, I can't throw that away when my assignment is also to make sure that there is truth being displayed and understood with balance within the community that I also was a part of, or that I'm also currently still being a part of, because I have a lot of connections. I have a lot of people who still that I'm connected to within the Christian church. So I have an obligation to still tell those, because if we all say that we follow the Bible, we all say that we believe that Jesus is Lord, we all say, and all these things that we believe, we all say that sin is a problem. But if we're all about truth, it's very important for us not to be respecters of persons. Henceforth, the reason why I posted those videos earlier today, and it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and being as diplomatic as possible and sitting and trying to see and in prayer, not only just waiting, but in prayer that the hope or the scales of the eyes of those who may oppose. We're not talking about heritage. We're not talking about nationality. We all believe in our community, in my community that I'm a part of. We all believe that all have an opportunity for salvation to get in this glorious kingdom. We all believe that Adam failed, and we all believe that the salvation is for mankind. We all believe that Israel was chosen to be an example for mankind. We all believe this. It's kind of sound the same thing that Christians believe, but it's still a problem. It's still a problem. We all believe within my community that the law itself is not what's going to save you, but it's still a problem. It's still a problem. We all believe that many people, including some of our brothers that are out on the corner, some of the doctrines that they preach and dealing with Esau as the white man and all that, we don't agree with that. But it's still a problem. We all agree that there's nothing wrong with having service on Saturday. But we believe over here there's nothing wrong with having service on Saturday. We all believe over here there's nothing wrong with having service on Sunday. We all believe over here there's nothing wrong with having service on Monday. We all believe that the church was open or the temple was open 7 days a week because the fire had to keep burning. We all believe on this side that the Sabbath, according to this calendar that we're on, is Saturday. But we have no issue worshiping every day of the week. But to Christians, it's still a problem. No matter how we agree doctrinally on the same page, it's still a problem. And I've always known for a while what that problem was. The problem isn't so much behind doctrine. I think that brothers and sisters are more educated now, and they've been doing enough research and been watching long enough to see that there's a difference between this Hebrew and that Hebrew. But you still want to treat the other Hebrew that you know it has the Ruach, that has the Holy Spirit. You still have a problem with that particular Hebrew, even though you know he's different from the other one that you deem that may not have the Holy Spirit and may be full of devils. So the problem is, as I continue to deal with a lot of brothers and sisters within the Hebrew community and within the Christian community, the problem that I'm running into is the revelation of it is this. The problem is not about doctrine when it comes to those who are balanced. Some of you Christians have even called us Christian Israelites. Some of you Christians have called us Hebrew Christians. Some of you have even said we're more worse than the other Israelites because we're going into the churches. Some have even put out fear-mongering and saying that all we're trying to do is get into the churches. Beloved, let me explain something to you. Let me tell you something right now. Let me put you up on the news. Let me give you a thorough understanding of my position, because I know many of you see me out here. I'm going into churches. Let me educate you so you don't have to guess anymore. So you don't have to wonder, what am I doing? Am I trying to get into churches to steal members? Let me educate you. If I'm going to a church, it's because the pastor called me. It's because the pastor saw me on YouTube. It's because the pastor saw me on Facebook. I'm going to lunch with Christian pastors. It's because I'm not pursuing them. I'm not inboxing them and saying, "Come, let me come to your church. Let me speak to your people." It's enough work out here. Let me educate you. I do more in the streets than I do in the church. I'm out here in the streets. I'm out here feeding the homeless. I'm out here making sure they're in hotels. I'm out here doing all this. I ain't asked the church for no money. I don't ask my people in our congregation for none of their money. I'm doing it out of my own pocket. And the Most High opened up the doors. I ain't trying to go in nobody's church to take your members. I can't take nobody. I can't steal nobody. These people don't even belong to me in the first place. And it's more work out here with people getting involved with atheism, comedic science, Christian science, and all of this other stuff out here, all this other madness. I don't have time for these type of lives that I'm doing right now. We got more work to do out here. I don't have time. I'm getting darts and arrows and shotgun blasts from my own people in the Hebrew community. I don't have time to try to come in your church and take your members. Matter of fact, the pastor that you invited to your anniversary have more of an opportunity to take your member, because some of them heard his message and they decided to go see what he was talking about the next Sunday. But you're not concerned about him. You know why? Your problem is not doctrine, beloved. Your problem is simply because we claim to be Israelites. We don't claim to be Jewish. We don't claim to be the people in the land of Israel today. They can have that title. Many of us can prove it scientifically. At one point in time, you say, y'all not the people of the book. We say we can show you in the scriptures. Oh, you can't prove that. That Deuteronomy 28 don't mean that. This don't mean that. And all this, that stuff was fulfilled. Show me some scientific proof. Then when I go get the DNA evidence and roll the carpet out, you say it still don't matter. I didn't need to go get the scientific DNA proof for myself. I was already resolved in who I was. But I gave it to you because you asked. And it wasn't because I was trying to please you. But I already knew that it wouldn't matter anyway. So it was just a testimony against you anyway. Because the problem is not if I can prove that I'm an Israelite scientifically. The problem isn't how many white Jews, how many European Jewish brothers and sisters come out and tell you, hey, listen, we migrated to this land. These black folks that are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, they're the people of the book, which has nothing to do with salvation. You can know that you're an Israelite all day long and still bust hell wide open. It's not a mere fact that because you identify as an Israelite, or you can prove it scientifically or prophetically, that doesn't get you in the kingdom, beloved. We can all say sin is a problem. The Christian and the Israelite can say lust is sinful. The Christian and the Israelite can say adultery is sinful. The Christian or the Israelite can say homosexuality is sinful and it's against God. But you still got a problem with the Israelite. It's because, one, he self-identifies, or he can prove it scientifically. And second is, you're so hell-bent on the word law. If I say you got to keep the law, if I say you got to keep the law because fornication is wrong, lust is wrong, it's no different than your pastor standing up on Sunday saying, son, you fornicating with that woman, you need to live holy. You need to marry that woman. But you're so hell-bent on a word and a terminology, you miss the spirit behind it. The spirit behind what I'm telling you when I say you need to keep the law is saying don't steal from your brother. The same as if you love your brother, you know, these two hang on these things. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and love thy neighbor as thyself. If I love the Most High, I'm going to not steal from my brother. I'm going to keep that. If I love my brother, I'm not going to steal from him. If I love my brother, then I'm going to tell my brother, you're doing wrong. But you're so hell-bent on the word law, which tells me you lack something. You lack the Holy Spirit. You're so caught up and hell-bent on a word and a title or what someone called themselves instead of looking at the spirit in which they operate in. If I'm going to tell a person to keep the law, if it's going to keep them from gunning down a brother, then it shouldn't be a problem if I'm telling this brother, hey, listen, don't murder your brother. It's a part of, it's in the law. You need to keep it. Don't murder your brother. You need to keep it. It's no different than you telling him, brother, black on black crime is wrong. I just chose to use the word law, and you chose to say black on black crime is wrong. We're saying the same thing. And this is the problem, because everybody want to bang. We're going to prove them Israelites wrong. We don't care if we believe the same thing doctrinally. We can simply say these things. Now, let me get to the point. You're upset. You're angry. If I was today to sit here before you, beloved, if I was to say, I no longer claim to be an Israelite, Christians would accept me wholeheartedly. They would accept me wholeheartedly. We don't want you, black people, saying that you are an Israelite. But then we'll turn around and say this. One is not a Jew outwardly, but one inwardly. Then we'll turn around and say, we're all Israel. We are Israel by spirit. Well, beloved, let me explain something to you. I'm an ancient Israelite. I'm an ancient Hebrew, genetically, through DNA. But I'm also an Israelite by spirit. What's the problem? I'm just playing to your game of what you're saying. You're saying, hey, we're all Israel. So what is the problem with me saying it? And what is the problem with me living it? It flows through my blood, but it also flows through my spirit. But you got a problem. You have a problem. Your personal problem, the Most High don't care about. He doesn't care about your personal perspective. He doesn't care about you being mad. You're not going to stop, brothers and sisters. If the Most High has to use a people to wake up and say, I'm an Israelite, I'm going to return back to living according to righteousness and holiness, and they say, I follow the law. If the Most High is going to use that for even a person who may not be blood-wise an Israelite, but yet they identify in their spirit and say, listen, I'm going to return back. At one time, I was a prostitute. I was a fornicator. I was a murderer, a drug addict. If it takes me to say, come out here and teach righteousness, and that person identifies as Israelite and they turn from prostitution, God be the glory. You can call them a curse all you want to, because they decide that they're not going to murder anyone anymore. The Most High in all his wisdom, he'll use a word, a trigger word, to get people back to righteousness. It's not up to you. What you need to do is you need to step to the side and recognize what he's doing in the spirit. It's a whole lot of brothers and sisters who've now come into this truth and identified it as Israelites. Many of them would have probably been the one to kick your dough in. Many of them would have probably been the one that stuck you up at the gas station. But because they've returned back to these laws, but because they read in the Bible that they need to get back to living right according to the commandments, the Most High used that to keep them from kicking in your door. And you're mad about that. You're mad about it. Now I'm going to go to some video footage. They want to paint us a certain kind of way. Even though many of them know that there's a difference between us. But they want to paint us a certain kind of way. Now, if you understand historically, there have always been Pharisees on the scene. There's always been those. But all of a sudden, during the time of what we know as the four Gospels, during the time of a Mashiach, there was always Pharisees. Many of them, they were the first ones on the scene before the disciples of Christ even came into play, before they was even called. You always have to have somebody as an example of what not to be like. There was the disciples of the Pharisees, and there was the disciples of Mashiach. Both of them were knowledgeable, but only one of them had the Ruach. In these day and age in which we live, the Pharisees ain't going nowhere. But Hasatan wants to paint the picture that the disciples of Hamashiach, who were Israelites, who had something and was given something, a level of power. No longer the Spirit was on man, but then as he ascended, the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, was sent and it came into man. So now we have these disciples, continuous learners, who now become apostles, flowing in the Spirit. They knew who they were in their genetics, but they awakened to who they were in their spirit. No different than today. You're going to have disciples of the Pharisees, and you're going to have disciples of a Mashiach. My advice to you before I play this video is to get out of the Most High way. Being a respecter of persons isn't going to get you anywhere. Get out of his way. He doesn't need your help. He doesn't need your help exposing anybody. He's a master at that. If they be not of him, eventually they will be exposed. If you think that I'm a devil and you believe, just give it time. Every tree that does not bear fruit is hewn down. Just give it time. Just give it time. Just like I don't lump every Christian in with the Klan. Even the Klan called themselves Christian. Not once. In fact, I even speak against that. Not one time have I said that every Christian was like the Klan or hold the view of a Klansman. Nor have I ever painted a picture that they held doctrinal positions or view of the Klan. That's irresponsible. That is spiritless. And that means I have an agenda. I don't have an agenda. Do you? Do you have an agenda, beloved? Me calling myself an Israelite? Does that mean I'm a devil? Does that mean? Does a claim make you a devil? I've given it to the Israelites. They're my brothers. But I'm giving it to y'all Christians tonight. And for many of you that really don't know the difference, you're going to find out. And I'm going to show you that the problem is the claim. It's not so much doctrine. It's a little bit dealing with doctrine, depending on which Israelite you're dealing with. But they don't want to separate the two. They want to paint the entire picture that we're all the same. Now I'm going to get to my first exhibit. This video that I have up right now. This is what they want you to believe. They want you to believe this. Let me blow this up for you. They want you to believe that all Israelites are like this. And I'm going to show you tonight the reason. I'm going to show you the reason. It's not about so much about doctrine. And I'm going to show you why. They want all of you to believe that all Hebrews are like what you're about to see. And to be honest with you, They've done a good job. But the Most High is so wise. He have even those who claim, who identify as Israelites, he's given them the Holy Spirit as well. I want you to show this. I want to show you something. Look at this.
The devil, the Bible speaks of, and I will never harm a hair on your head. But I will wait for that day when Christ comes back to bathe the streets of America in your goddamn blood.
When?
So interrupting, right? So what I just did, that was a form of harassment.
He says in.
We gotta get out of here, man. We ain't none of them guys, all right? You ain't about to come up here and cause no spectacle. Call the cops. Call the cops. Call the cops. Yeah. Call the cops. Fuck out of here.
Shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out of here.
That's right. All right. Coming up here causing mission. All right. Death to America. That's right. That's right. Look at her trying to play the victim. The pretty white go get the KKK, right? That's what the KKK is all about, right? Protecting white women there. She come up here trying to play the victim. Taser! Taser! Come on, you guys know you're going into slavery, right? You know you're going into slavery? Are y'all American citizens? Okay, y'all know about the history of America then, right? Y'all are going into slavery for enslaving so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right? That's what the Bible say, all right? So y'all can sit up here and listen. Y'all can take it as a joke, but guess what? All the atrocities that was done to our people, it's going to be done to you times 2, all right? If I didn't do that, you would have just kept walking, man. And then when we saw him again, he gave respect and death to all you crackers, man. That's right. That's right. You want to bash your fucking head in, man. That's right. Oh, yeah, young. I want to take these babies and I fucking hate you devils, man. It works, man. All you white people, you so-called white people, you're the devil, all right? That's right. Got white bitches, the most size will put you on a damn workout plan, all right? That's right. When you running from the judgment, right? And all you so-called white people, you punk faggots, you going into slavery, all right? We're going to destroy you, man. Before you get any of that, get Revelation 19:10. And they think it's a joke, man. It's not going to be a joke when we got a sword and it's going across your neck, man. You're going to get tortured too, man. That's right. You're going to get tortured, right?
Our heritage, man. Not the ways of the heathens, man. That's what got us in this predicament that we're in now, man. Learning the ways of the heathens, man. The scriptures say not, you know? So death, fuck America.
That's why you're going to die in your sins, man. That's why you're going to die in your sins.
We ain't thinking about that, man.
That's right. About that, man. He got a demon on him, man.
Exactly.
We rebuke you. We rebuke you and let you have about getting outside.
That's right.
You ain't got nothing but a demon on you.
Who's the heathen? Who's the heathen? Say that again. Say it again. White boys are goddamn heathen. Is that what it is? A white boy's a goddamn heathen. Don't push me, goddamn. Don't push me. Don't fucking push me. Hey, do it again. Do it again.
Stop!
And you so-called white woman, man, you going to get brutally killed out here, man.
Right.
Let me go away from that. Now, all Israelites don't believe this. All Israelites don't act like this. There's a difference between Israelites who have the Spirit, the fruits of the Spirit, and those that you see right now. What I'm trying to get you to understand is this. They understand that doctrinally, these brothers are absolutely in error. There's no way that a brother with the Spirit would act like that. But it's not so much about that. They understand there's a difference between what they call moderates, Christian Israelites, and all these other different. They understand it's a difference. They've been watching long enough to know that there's a difference between the two. So we have a responsibility. And again, earlier I showed you videos of white people saying that blacks are Israelites and all these other things. Nobody has done a debunking video at all. All the videos that we see when you go up, Hebrew Israelites Exposed, it's all videos of all these type of brothers right here. Now I'm going to prove my point with what I mean. But it's not so much of a doctrinal thing. Because if you sit down with a brother like myself and other brothers, when it comes down to it, we agree on the vast majority of Christian doctrine. But it's that small thing. If you just deny or say that you're an Israelite by conversion, we're cool with that. We're cool with you saying that you're an Israelite by conversion. It doesn't matter if you can whip out 40 pages of scientific evidence. It doesn't matter any of that because we don't believe any of that. Unless the Jews say that you are. And the only reason why we accept the Ethiopian Jews is because the Jews say that you are. We can agree and deal with it all the way down. Just don't call yourself an Israelite. Just don't say you a Hebrew. If you just say you a Christian, we'll rock with you. Doesn't matter. We don't want you saying that you're a Hebrew. Even though we know that you're not like the brothers that we see on the video. We know this from top to bottom. We know you believe that all people get salvation is for everyone. We know that you believe the law itself can't save you. We know that you believe in the virgin birth. We know that you believe all this. Just don't say you're a Hebrew. And I'm going to prove my point here, right here in a minute. But I had to show you this for those of you who haven't seen or this is the only Hebrews you've seen. Because these brothers, I can pull up the Klan and they doing the same thing. And the Klan call themselves Christians. So on both sides of the fence, you got people like these, whether they are Christians or they're Israelites. Let me go to my next video. The brother that you're about to see in this video goes by the name. Hold on, let me refresh this. Hold on, let me get there. The video that I'm about to show goes by the name of Omar Tebow. Pull up this video by Omar Tebow. If it plays, hold on. Because I want to show you something. Pull up this Omar video real quick. If not this video, I'm going to have to go to another one. I think this video might have got took down. Hold on, let me go back. Let me find this video. There's a video with Omar Tebow, who is a Hebrew pastor who teaches against fringes, who teaches against keeping dietary law, who teaches against all these things. And they still got a problem with him. I'm going to show you. Hold on. Let me get to it. I got it up on. Hold on. There's a lot of Israelites that have been doing a lot of lives against Omar. So that's what you see on the video. So I'm about to go to it real quick. Tina, come here for a second. Where your phone at?
Downstairs.
Give me your phone real quick. Cool. All right. Come on, let me see. Pull up the YouTube. I'm gonna do it on the phone.
YouTube.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up on this phone. I know it. It ain't acting right.
Next thing I know, you're coming in.
Hold on. Let me check this out of here. I got it up on this YouTube. And hold on. Let me pull this up. All right. So I want to show you something on this video right here. Come on. Yeah, don't worry about it. I got it over here.
Now, after you study, don't go off on the deep end. Because I bring a word like this, and next thing I know, you're coming in here with fringes, and you done change your religion on me. What? All right? Don't go off on the deep end with this. The first sign of a cult is a group that tries to control what you eat. That's why Philadelphia, as long as I'm up here, I'm going to fight people trying to infuse the law into this church. What? If we would ever begin to walk in the law, we would become a cult instead of a church. What? Anybody hear me up in here? When we push the law, clean, unclean, this and that, that's a cult. That's not new covenant. That's a cult. All right? 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, clearly.
All right. So what I wanted to show you was, I wanted to show you that Pastor Omar Tebow, or Tebow, he teaches against dietary law. He teaches against fringes. He teaches against all these things. I mean, everything that an Orthodox Christian believes, he teaches. But he says that we are the children of Israel and that we don't have to keep no laws. But they still got a problem with him. So is it the doctrine? Okay, we understand that the things that we see that a lot of the brothers in the camps are teaching are out of bounds and crazy and all these other things doctrinally. But Omar teaches that we're the children of Israel. Many of you have seen Omar's videos. He was on the Negro Land tour with Pastor Darby, God rest his soul, and all these and these other brothers, Bishop Coleman and all these. They're teaching, you're the children of Israel. Omar's teaching, don't keep no Torah. He's teaching the same thing. He have church on Sunday. He have Christmas. He celebrate Christmas. All these things. But they still got a problem with him. The point that I'm making to you is this. It's not so much about the doctrine. Because you can be in line with the Christian doctrine, but if you call yourself a Hebrew, we still got a problem with you. We still have a problem. So we can't use doctrine as the only means. It boils down to this. We just want you to stop saying that you're a Hebrew. We don't care if white people say you are. We don't care if white people say, we don't care if the Jewish people say. Nobody's done a video on Harry Rosenberg. Ain't nobody did a video on any of these white brothers that I've showed you that are bringing out historical things and facts and bringing out in the Bible and doing their teachings. Nobody got no Harry Rosenberg exposed or any of these things up and down the timeline on YouTube. But as you put in Hebrew Israelites exposed, you go up and down the timeline. All you see is videos about black brothers. And now the moderates, which they would consider Omar a moderate, and most Israelites banging on Omar. The Israelites banging on Omar, and the Christians saying, look, we got to deal with him. He got numbers. He got a big crowd. We don't want him teaching that these folks are Israelites. He got a whole movement called the School of the Hebrews, where he's teaching throughout the country. You are the children of Israel. Matter of fact, he's even teaching that the folks over in Israel they're not the real Jews. But they still got a problem with Omar. And on the low, they had a problem with Pastor Darby too. So is it really so much about the doctrine? Or is it the claim? Is it the doctrine or is it the claim? Because surely if it's the doctrine, and I've heard many of them say this, well, we don't have a problem with black people saying that they're Israelites as long as they fall in line with the Christian doctrine. Well, why you got a problem with Omar? Why you got a problem with Omar? Omar got Christmas trees. Omar did a whole lesson. I mean, he came out, blasted. The first sign of a cult, and I quote, and y'all just heard it on the video, the first sign of a cult is someone trying to control what you eat. And we can't be talking about what's wrong and what's right about the law. We can't be bringing the law into this. We can't talk about the law because y'all gonna be coming in here wearing fringes. We keeping fringes up out of here. We keeping everything with nothing but the law. Old Testament is done away with. We under the new covenant. Y'all still got a problem with Omar. It can't get no more close to the Christian doctrine than what Omar is doing and teaching, and y'all still got a problem with Omar. Now, we'll pull up another video. I ain't seen none of y'all doing a diss record. None of y'all did a diss record on this guy right here. Nobody has done a diss record on Slow Mo Slam. Nobody. Has done a diss record on Slow Mo. Well, I can't expect you dissing him because you ain't diss Harry. Harry done did an interview with Dr. Brown and everything. Harry bringing it out. Now, I ain't seen none of y'all doing no videos on Harry Rosenberg Exposed for telling black people that they Israelites. That the B.O.O.M are Israelites and the Limba are Israelites. All these Africans over there. Ain't none of y'all did no diss record or went against Harry or put up no protest or put up no conglomerate to go against Harry. But as soon as a brother come out and say he put out a book, y'all bang hard on the brother from Babylon to Timbuktu when he wrote his book. Now Slow Mo Sand has done several interviews, got a book. I ain't seen no debunker Slow Mo. See, this is the problem. This is what you call respect of persons, which not, since y'all don't want to deal with the Old Testament, respect of persons was still condemned in the New Testament. So you don't want to keep the Old Testament. You say that's Moses stuff. You say you follow Christ, but yet James tell you don't be a respecter of persons, and you're ignoring James. But you say you're under the new covenant. Being a respecter of persons is not loving your brother as yourself. If a white man come out and say that black people are children of Israel, you should bang on him. If it's all about truth, and you saying black people not in America, you need to bang on that white dude the same way you bang on that brother. That's why I'll bang on a Christian and I'll bang on the Israelite too when it come down to dealing with this book. Because I cannot be a respecter of persons. Now let's listen to what Slow Mo he be talking all kind of foul. He talking all kind of sideways. All kind of sideways. Let's go to his interview.
With me I have Professor Sharon Sand, author of a book that's making waves here in Israel, The Invention of the Jewish People. Professor, thank you very much for joining us here on RT. If we go to the heart of your book, what is the difference between a people, a race, and a religion?
I will start from the end. Because, before people existed in the world as single.
So wait a minute. So you don't want to bang on Slow Mo because he's a history professor at Tel Aviv University. That's why you don't want to bang on Slow Mo. How dare you? No, you're not going to come after the Jewish man. No, you're not going to do that. You ain't going to bang on the Jewish man. You're not going to bang on him. You ain't going to bang on Harry. You're not going to bang on any of these other Jews that's out here saying that, yeah, black people, yeah, we got these Africans over here. Yeah, you do know that majority of the slave trade, you had Limbas, Yoruba, and Igbos, and all of them are connected, and all of them have a gene in them that's even priestly genes of the ancient Israelite. But you ain't gonna bang on the Jewish man. You ain't gonna bang on them. You ain't gonna bang on these white folks. You ain't gonna say nothing about them because we don't want you black folk. If the white folks say it is cool, because we know most black folks, this is the mindset, most black folks ain't reading nobody books anyway. They ain't reading nobody white folks books. They ain't doing none of this stuff. Of course, you're not going to see this level of interview on white American news anyway. So if you want to know the truth, you need to go look at world news. That's why you tune into RT and all these other places. Go deal with some world news. Go deal with some of these words and see what they talking about. This interview was on Word at the RT. They ain't gonna say nothing about them. I'm giving y'all, I'm putting the video out here right now. And I'm gonna look in the next 6 months and I'm gonna see if any of these folks gonna bang on slow-mo.
Religious communities were the most important union of people in the world. Religion is a community of people that believe in the same God. Race is something that was dominate the 19th century thought about human beings. And I think that today, after the Second World War, the word race become illegitimate at all. You know, we don't believe that race exists because people are so mixed between them that you cannot speak really of race, only about a yellow race, a black race, and a white race. About people, it's legitimate. We are using it all the time. And what is important, when we say French people, for example, Italian people, we are thinking not about a scientific concept of a group, a human group. We are thinking about a human group that have in common a language, have in common a culture, a secular culture, then have in common a lot of practice, but secular practice. Okay? Before the modern times, people are living in villages that between a valley and another valley, it was a different dialect of the language. Imagine a word that the peasant spoke maybe 300 words with all their life. I don't know how many words they spoke with their wives. But speaking about it as a people, it's something not really scientific.
Can you say there's such a thing as a Jewish people?
I cannot say a Jewish people.
Well, hold on. I need y'all to, I need all these folks out here that don't want none of us saying that we Israelites. Slow-mo just said, I can't say there's an existence of a Jewish people. I can't say it. The science does not back it. Now, this ain't about that. What I'm proving a point here is this. The point that I'm making is, ain't nobody coming after slow-mo. Nobody. I ain't even going to. In the next 6 months, nobody coming after him. Ain't nobody going to talk about him. Ain't nobody going to say nothing about him because you ain't said nothing yet. Ain't nobody going to say nothing. Just like you ain't going to say nothing about Harry. But you want to come after everybody, every other day. Well, we can't deal with them black folks. We can't deal with them black folks. They talking about they the Hebrews of the Bible. No, y'all are Canaanites. Y'all are Hamites. Y'all are all of this other stuff. Prove that I am. Matter of fact, prove that you are Hamite. Prove it. Why don't you? It's simple. Go get you a swab. Go ahead and get you a swab. Let them see your results. And if your results lined up like mine, see, that's the problem. People don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because if they do that, it's going to be a problem. That's why they don't want to do it. They don't want to accept the fact about the limber. They didn't believe the limber. The limber been telling y'all for years that they were the people of the book and y'all don't want to believe it till y'all had to go down there and swab their mouth and all of a sudden the facts come back. The facts come back. You say you're a Gentile? Prove it. I don't want to hear that you told me that somebody else told you that. No, prove it. You say I ain't a Hebrew, an ancient Hebrew? Prove it. Prove it. See, when we start getting down to the nitty-gritty of this thing, let's prove it. All this tongue wrestling and tongue twisting and y'all this and y'all. I don't want it. I'm tired of hearing that stuff. Prove it. Go do just what I did. All you got to do, and it don't cost you. It don't cost you that much. You gonna spend $50, $60, $70, $100 anyway. Just go on, spend the money to go ahead on and get it. So that way, when the facts come out, then we can look at it and see that, yep, you know, right. You got that right. Well, you know, here goes mine right here. I'm a Gentile. Okay, well, cool. You the same complexion as me. So you're a Gentile. Okay, cool. Here go your results. You're a Gentile. Cool. Me and you the same complexion, but my results say different. My results say I'm a Hebrew. My result has listed I'm a Jew. I'm Jewish. Based on the modern terminology of that. But we look the same. So don't try to make me what you is. Just because you want to be that. Just because you want to be that without any proof, you want to be that because somebody told you that. I'm sorry, I'm not accepting that. And you're not going to make me not say that I'm not. Now, this don't have nothing to do with salvation. We're talking genetics. The same way Shlomo said, I can't say that these people, I can't say anything, no such thing as Jewish man. We talking scientific here. Now let's listen to what the man's saying, okay?
Why cannot say Jewish people? Because the common sense between a Jewish 500 years ago, between a Jew in Marrakesh, a Jew in London, and a Jew in Rome, was only religious practice.
What did he say? What did he say? So he said the only common factor is based on religious practices. Not scientific, no, not scientific, but because of religious practice. See, that's what they wanted me to do. That's what they wanted me to say. When I talked to a whole bunch of them other brothers, I talked to some of them Christian brothers, they said, listen, we cool if you just say that you are converted Jew, that by religious practices. And I say the devil is a liar. I ain't accepting it. I'm not saying it. I'm not backing down. I'm not saying any of that. You asked me to prove it. I went and got my results, whipped them out. Bam! Here you go, right here. Bam! Oh, well, that doesn't matter. It don't even matter. It don't matter. Because one is a Jew inwardly and not outwardly. I say I'm a Jew inwardly and outwardly. So what's your problem? Well, it doesn't matter. Do you believe in the virgin birth? Yes, I do. Then they start going down the line. Of course, they start going down the line. Then they say, we got to get rid of him. We can't deal with him. We can't have him popping. He going all to these churches. He doing all this other stuff. We can't do this. I done told y'all I ain't backing down. I done been going at the bruise. I ain't said nothing about the Christians. But y'all, it's time for y'all to get it. It's time for y'all to get it. Because y'all are respecters of persons according to the New Testament. I ain't backing down from. I don't care what you say. Call me a heretic. You can call around the country and say, don't call him on the phone and have him to come. The Most High still going to open up a door. If every church shut their door tomorrow, I'm still going to be on the corner preaching. Because this for me ain't about a building structure. This for me ain't about no numbers. I was an evangelist before I was a pastor. Before I was a moral. I know how to get on the corner. I don't see y'all out there. I see a bunch of y'all out there on the billboard. I see a whole lot of y'all out there on the billboard, but I don't see none of y'all out there in person. Don't get it twisted. I fly and I post up on the block. Don't get it twisted. Now let's listen to what Slow-Mo saying, because ain't none of y'all running y'all mouth about Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo coming against the Jewish people and y'all ain't saying nothing. Got Harry and all these other cats out here banging, talking about, yeah, black people, yeah, they Israelites too. Ain't none of y'all opening y'all mouth and saying nothing against Harry. You ain't gonna say nothing against that Jewish man that come out and tell any type of truth. You ain't gonna say nothing. But if a brother come out and open his mouth and say anything, guess what you gonna do? Oh, we gotta get rid of him. We gotta post, we gotta do debunk videos and all kind of other stuff.
Not secular practice. They didn't speak the same language. They didn't eat the same food. They didn't hear the same music. Why to call it a people, I ask?
Can we not go back further and say that the Jewish people started in biblical times?
I advise everybody to open the Bible and to see all the uses of the word people in the Bible.
Wait, hold on. Did Slow-Mo just tell us to go to Genesis chapter number 10? Is that what Slow-Mo saying? Because she's asking, she said, look, what about the folks in the Bible? So you can't tell me, you can't say scientifically who they are. But what about the Bible? Someone say, go to the Bible and look for yourself.
People started in biblical times.
I advise everybody to open the Bible and to see all the uses of the word people in the Bible. People in the Bible is not at all the same thing that I nominate people today. Not at all. The word people in the Bible, in the beginning of my book, I explain it very clearly, can be a village, can be the poor people in the country, can be an army, can be also a religious community.
So if the Jews are not a people, what are they?
In the past.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. Did this sister just sit up here and say, since the Jews are not a people? Slow-Mo is banging on his own people. Slow-Mo done wrote a book. Ain't nobody debunking his book. Ain't nobody doing no videos. Ain't nobody said nothing to Slow-Mo. Nobody ain't said nothing to this brother. Ain't nobody said nothing to this brother, man. At some point, enough got to be enough. If you say that you believe in this book and you say you a follower of the Most High and his beloved son, you need to anybody that's out of pocket. I don't care if they white, they black, they Asian, Puerto Rican, African, whatever they are. I don't care if they Muslim. I don't care if they Christian. I don't care if they Israelite. You got to bang on them. And all I see is, y'all, we got to post it. We got to defend Protestantism. We got to defend the Protestants. We got to defend the apostles' doctrine. We got to defend the church. Well, if you got to defend them, then why don't you go after the Seventh-day Adventists? They keeping the dietary law. They keeping feast days. They keeping the Sabbath. Where's the videos y'all banging on them? Y'all ain't banging on the Seventh-day Adventist church. Y'all ain't banging. I don't see nobody having a problem with the Seventh-day Adventist church. Ain't nobody banging on them. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Come on now. We going to defend the writ. Everybody can get it. Everybody can get it. Y'all ain't got nothing to say about the Catholics. And the Catholics got more black people than any other religion. Over in Africa, the Catholics went and converting more people to Catholicism than any Israelite Negro in America. And I don't see y'all raising a concern at all. Ain't nobody said nothing about them Catholics over there. They all over there, all over in Africa. They sending black bishops all over to America to take over churches. Now let's go listen to slow-mo, man.
Also a religious community. So in the past, it was one of the community that started to spread monotheism. Without Judaism as a religion, there cannot be not Christianism and not Islam. The Jews continue to exist as a kind of sect in the Christian world and after it in the Islamic world. But most of them has not the same origin. Most of them massively are converted to Judaism.
What did you say, slow-mo? What is run it back? We gonna run it back. We gonna run it back. We can talk all this stuff all we want to. This dude is simply going against his own people and ain't nobody saying nothing. I think y'all scared of the Ashkenazis. I think y'all scared of the Jewish people, man. Just admit it. We not saying nothing about them people over there. We ain't saying nothing about them people. You'll say it's neither Jew nor Greek. You'll say it's neither Jew nor Greek. You'll say God is not a respecter of persons and all this other stuff. And we all, the churches, we all Israel. Why you ain't saying nothing about this dude? Why you ain't saying nothing about these Jews? Why you say all that crazy stuff they be talking? They be banging on our Christ. They be talking about Jesus don't exist and all that. And y'all ain't saying nothing. All y'all say, oh, well, they blind. They just blind to the fact. They blind to, and you'll turn around and say Majors is blind too, but you'll bang on Majors. But when these Jewish people, oh, they just blind. They blind. They don't see, they don't see the truth and they don't see any of this stuff. They just, scripture said that they're blind and all this stuff. Scripture say a whole lot of us blind. But you're going to bang on Majors and you're going to bang on these other black Hebrews. These other Hebrews out here. You're going to bang on them. But you ain't going to bang on Slow-Mo and Harry Rosenberg and all this. You ain't going to bang on them. You ain't going to say nothing about them.
Massively are converted to Judaism from the 200 before Jesus Christ till the 18th century, 19th century.
This dude just say they are converts.
Saying that there is not a Jewish people in the world, it doesn't mean that I deny the affinity between Jews, the solidarity between Jews. You have to understand, after Hitler, somebody that denies solidarity between Jews is an idiot or a criminal.
Hitler had no problem defining a Jew.
He had a problem. Hitler had a very big problem. He based himself to define the Jewish people as a race.
So listen what he says. He said that Hitler was foolish. He tried to base the Jewish people by defining them as a race. Now here we go. Listen what Slow. I want y'all to listen carefully to what Slow-Mo about to bring out right now.
As a biological phenomenon. But the criteria, the parameter to define who is a Jew was bureaucratic papyrus, papers.
He said Hitler was defining who was a Jew by papers. By governmental papers. Does that not sound like America? Does that not sound like some of y'all out here who banging on these brothers and saying this again? Does that not sound like y'all defining who's a Jew based off of papers? You doing the same thing Hitler did. Come on, man, if we about the truth.
You cannot find biologically who is a Jew and who is not a Jew.
Hold on. Let's go back. Let's listen to what Slow-Mo said. Because, see, y'all just bang, oh, you black, you ain't no Jew. Oh, you black, you ain't no Jew. You ain't no real Jew because only real Jews look like Slow-Mo.
Who is a Jew was bureaucratic papyrus, papers. You cannot find biologically who is a Jew and who is not a Jew. He had a real problem to define what is a Jew.
But he killed 6 million Jews.
By what? By what? This is one of the paradoxes of the Nazism, the stupidity of the Nazism. Why? because they define racially a Jew, but they cannot prove who is Jew by race.
You know, I could just end this video right here, but I ain't. Y'all gonna get it tonight. Y'all gonna get it tonight, man. Y'all gonna get it tonight. You're gonna get it tonight, man. Enough is enough. Let's stop playing the games, man. Let's stop it. Let's go, but listen to what Slow-Mo said. You can't prove who's a Jew just because you're looking at their skin complexion. This is another problem that a lot of other brothers have too in the Hebrew community. You want to define who was an Israelite by skin tone. I keep telling y'all that. I did a whole lesson showing y'all some of my family members. Some of them who was non-melanin, but they was more African than some of y'all. I keep trying to tell these people this, but they don't want to listen. Y'all don't want to listen. Everybody banging on both sides. Everybody banging, you know, everybody on each side trying to prove who right and who wrong, and ain't nobody trying to find out what the truth is.
Or 6 million Jews.
By what? By what? This is one of the paradoxes of the Nazism, the stupidity of the Nazism. Why? Because they define racially a Jew, but they cannot prove who is Jew by race. You understand what the problem? They look for papers, birth act of your grandmother. But it's a birth act, it's a bureaucratic stamp, you understand me? He cannot define who is a Jew. He cannot look forward, take a Jew, and decide that he is Jew because of biological terms. They try to...
You cannot say who's a Jew because of geological terms, which means you can't say that a brother who's dark, who's black, who's brown, isn't a Jew. Hey, you want to be a Hamite? Fine, cool. That ain't me. That doesn't mean I'm any better than you either. Let's clarify that before they try to remix this. You know how they do. Oh, he said that he was better than, all because he can prove he an Israelite. He can prove who he descend from. Oh man. Oh, he said he better than, you know how they do. No. I'm not better than you. You want to be a Hamite? Go ahead, cool. I ain't trying to convince you not to be. But you're not going to convince me that I'm not an Israelite. So let's stop the games. Be mad all you want. And I don't have to wave a flag saying, look at me, I'm in Israel. I don't have to do that. I'm resolved in who I am. I walk in who I am. I'm resolved spiritually and genetically who I am. I can go up in a church and lift my hands in worship and all that. I don't prove nothing. That's why I move the way I move. I'm about pleasing the Most High. I don't care who don't like it. I ain't here to please the bruised, and I ain't here to please you Christians. But it come a point in time where enough is enough. If I say I stand for the kingdom, I have to make sure that you understand that the Most High got an ought with both of y'all. Y'all too busy worried about all this other, man, this stuff ain't going nowhere. I don't care who get mad about it. But the truth gonna come out tonight.
To measure the heads, you know, to look forward with the noise and all this, they cannot look forward, take a Jew, and decide that he is Jew because of biological terms. They try to measure the heads, you know, to look forward with the noise and all this. They couldn't arrive to define who is a Jew.
So who were the 6 million that he killed?
First of all, it's because the Polish, you know, they put away the Yiddish people outside from them, you understand? But he could find who is a Jew by culturally, by language. not by physical, biological way of looking.
Did Hitler and anti-Semitism make the Jews into a people?
No, because, first of all, he crushed out from Europe us. Hitler contributed a lot to solidarity between Jews, affinity between Jews. But between homosexual community, it exists today a lot of solidarity, a lot of affinity. There are groups, also political groups, but they are not a people.
Is there a Jewish people today?
I don't believe.
Oh, Lord, come on, Slow. Oh, Lord, Slow-Mo. Slow-Mo, I'm surprised, Slow-Mo, these folks, I'm surprised that these folks ain't came and took away your position at Tel Aviv University. I can't, do y'all hear this stuff that he's saying, man? Do you hear what Slow-Mo is saying here? You would think that some Christian would have came up and blown Slow-Mo spot up. You would think that they would have had a disc tape, edit tape exposing Slow-Mo saying. You would have thought that they would have had tons of them and it would have made new. Ain't nobody heard or did nothing to Slow-Mo. Ain't nobody. Now, if let me tell you something. If Majors would have been saying all this stuff that Slow-Mo saying, you know how many videos have been on me? Do you know how many videos that would have been on me exposing that false teacher? Exposing the false teacher of the B.O.O.M Church. Moray, William Majors Brown. We exposing him. They would have been all over, all kind of exposed going on. They'd have been knocking on my doors at the church. They'd have found out every church that I got, every church that we have with Boom, they'd have had people already all over there, posting up and everything. If I'd have said what Slow-Mo saying. But not one finger was lifted against Slow-Mo, against Harry Rosenberg, against any of these folks, man. And this is the respect of person, the hypocrisy that I'm talking about. This is the hypocrisy. You can't be a hypocrite and say you represent the Most High and His Christ. You can't be a hypocrite. You can't do it. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. You can't do it. The apostles wasn't hypocrites, but you say you follow the apostles' doctrine, but you're being a hypocrite. James told you, chapter number 2, you cannot be a respecter of person, for God is not a respecter of person. Paul told you in Romans, you can't be a respecter of person, for God judge, and He judged righteously against all. You can't be a respecter of person. You don't want to deal with the Old Testament because you say it's obsolete. You say it was fulfilled, but in the New Testament, they say respect of person, and guess what? You ain't keeping that. You ain't keeping that. You ain't even breaking the new covenant.
There is an Israeli people, and there is a Jewish solidarity. But there is not a secular Jewish culture that can unify me and a rabbi in Brooklyn. Can I speak with a Jew that is living today in Hungary? We don't have any common language. We don't like the same food. We don't have the same theater. We don't have the same cinema. And I'm thinking about somebody is living in Moscow. A Jew that is living in Moscow. He's not speaking Hebrew like me. He don't understand the Israeli cinema like me. He's not living with me.
If there is no Jewish people, what does this mean for Zionism?
Oh, look on the internet how they react to my people. Because you see, Zionism, the raison d'être of Zionism, that is a Jewish people. If not, what is the legitimation of this colonization that we did here? When you use the word people, you believe that these people has a territory. is the owner of the territory. This is the reason that we are using the word Jewish people.
Can you say there's such a thing as an Israeli people?
I can say that today there is an Israeli people in even an Israeli nation.
He said, I can't say it as a Jewish people because geographically and scientifically it does not add up. But I can say there's an Israeli people and there's an Israeli nation. That's no different than saying that there is a United States and they're also an American people. That's all that he's saying. That's all he said. Yes, the state is there, the country is there, and the people who live there are citizens of it. That makes them Israeli people, and it also makes them Israeli as a state. But I can't say they're people. I can't say genetically, scientifically. I can't say any of that. I can't say it. You're not going to make me say it. I've done the research. This is what Shlomo telling you. He's a professor at Tel Aviv University. He don't have nothing in the game. He don't have to say anything to get no come up. He don't have to say anything to get a bonus or get on somebody's platform. He don't have to be saying this stuff. But y'all ain't saying nothing to him. I don't see y'all sending him no emails banging on him. I don't see y'all sending him no inboxes doing no diss videos.
White people, we have a common language. Today, there is an Israeli people in even an Israeli nation. White people, we have a common language. We have a cinema, we have a theater, we have food. We stole it from the Palestinians, but we...
Hold on. Hold on. Let me rewind this for you. Listen to what Shlomo said.
Even an Israeli nation. White people, we have a common language. We have a cinema, we have a theater, we have food. We stole it from the Palestinians, but we have a national food like the hummus.
I mean, he said we stole it from the Palestinians. Did Shlomo just say his own people don't even keep thou shalt not steal? Did Shlomo just say this? I can't believe Shlomo just said this. This don't make no sense. Thou should not steal is in the Old Testament. You can't steal in the New Testament either. That's the main reason why you have folk dropping dead and folk getting killed and lying and all that kind of stuff was in the Old Testament and lying is in the New Testament. You bear false witness, you're going to get put to death. At the end of the day, it's what it is. You can't escape it. You're not going to escape this. You're not going to escape it. You're not going to escape it. Okay, listen to what the man is saying.
We stole it from the Palestinians, but we have a national food like the hummus. Now, with all this, when I'm a real denier of the Jewish people, I'm not a denier of the Israeli people. But it's very important to understand. I think the Israeli people that live today has a right to live here. I don't think that this territory, this land belongs to a rabbi in Brooklyn that won't want to become.
If the Jewish people do not have a right to this land, why does the Israeli have a right to live here?
The whites in the United States, the Anglo-Saxon Protestant has to their right to stay in the United States because, history is built by tragedies.
Hold on. Let me run this back. Listen to what Shlomo got to say again.
States because, history is built by tragedy. Has to their right to stay in the United States because, history is built by tragedies.
Did you just hear what this man say? He said, the Anglos, Lord have mercy, y'all, man, I need y'all to be listening to what this do. Boy, slow mo.
United States because history
to live here.
The whites in the United States, the Anglo-Saxon Protestant has to their right to stay in it.
Listen to what he said. He didn't just say Anglo-Saxon. Now, all you Protestants out there. Now, Shlomo done gave you a right to go at his throat. He just called you out. All these Anglo-Saxon Protestants have a right to stay there because theirs was built off of wars and ugliness. Listen to what he said. I'm going to run it back for you so you don't think that I'm saying this.
United States, the Anglo-Saxon Protestant has to their right to stay in the United States because, history is built by tragedies.
He have the right to stay and run America because history is built off tragedies. Now, y'all got a right to say something to slow-mo. I hope to be seeing a video soon of somebody banging on slow-mo. Because slow-mo he just taking the gloves all the way off. He don't care what nobody say. He wilding out. Now, if y'all want to put the devil on folks, somebody need to be putting the devil on slow-mo.
Building the American nation was on the cost of the Indians. Everybody knows in the United States. It's too late to deny the rights of the white people to live in North America. It's the cost of the Indians.
I want y'all to listen.
If the Jewish people do not have a right to this land, why does the Israeli have a right to live here?
The whites in the United States, the Anglo-Saxon Protestant has to their right to stay in the United States because, you know, history is built by tragedies. Building the American nation was on the cost of the Indians. Everybody knows in the United States. It's too late to deny the rights of the white people to live in North America. It's too late and dangerous to deny the right of Israelis to live here.
Are the Palestinians a people?
Yeah, Zionists built two peoples here, not only one. The Israeli people and the Palestinian people. Without Zionism, it could be that the Palestinians, the people that we call Palestinians today, were a part of the Syria. Today there is a Palestinian people, but it wasn't, even in 48, I'm not sure, yet the Palestinian people existed. But Arab population, yes, in the Israeli state was built on the count of this Arab population.
Do the Palestinian people have as much right to this land as the Israelis?
Much more. Much more. I'm sorry to tell them that they lost the right to live, to return, but they have rights that we have to pay for it.
How do you see the future of the Jewish state?
Imagine that Great Britain will declare tomorrow that it belongs to the English people. For how long Scots people, Welsh people will declare independent from England? Britain belongs to everybody that is living in Britain. The same thing with Israel. I want that Israel will declare that it belongs to all the citizens, Israeli citizens, Jewish, Arabs. You have to understand. And the world has to understand. A quarter of this population that has Israeli citizens are not considered a Jew. It's like you decided that the Latinos and the black will not be, United States will not belong to them. It's not so clear, I don't know. What is the chutzpah? If you want, it's unbelievable for me. It's so stupid that sometimes I don't believe that it's real. Bibi Netanyahu asked the world, the Arab world, to recognize Israel as a Jewish state. The state has to belong to all the citizens. If not, in a very, very close future, the Israeli Palestinians or the Israeli Arabs or the Palestinian Israelis will decide to not accept the game of the rules of the game.
Professor Shlomo Sand, thank you very much for joining us here on RT.
Thank you.
Beloved, all I'm saying is this. If we say that we're going to follow the doctrines of the apostles, if we say that we're going to be a kingdom people, then we cannot be respect of persons. We can't do it. We can't do it. And we have an obligation to address these things. This is sinful. I continue to tell you the reason for Hamashiach, the reason for the Christ to come into the world, is because it was a sin problem. The reason we need grace, which is not a new concept, for mankind was because of sin. Doesn't matter if it's Old Testament, doesn't matter if it's New Testament. As long as sin is in existence, we have an obligation to address it. This is not an attack on any of my Christian brothers and sisters, but it's a wake-up call. You cannot be respective persons. The same energy that you give to a black brother, the same energy you need to give to the white ones who are saying the same thing. All Christians aren't the same, just like all Israelites aren't the same. And I know many of you are set in your ways, and that's fine. This is not something that I'm declaring to change you. But if you have the Holy Spirit, the Ruach in you, you'll know that the way things are going and how you're dealing with things is against the essence of the very Creator who created us. The same way he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. The same way he chastised the Israelites. The same way he brought down Egypt. The same way he chastised the Israelites. The same way he brought down the Persian Empire. The same way he chastised the Israelites. The same way he brought down the Babylonian captivity. The same way he chastised the Israelites. The same way he brought down the Greeks. The same way he chastised the Israelites. The same way he took them from under the rulership of Rome in Jerusalem by breaking down the walls in 70 AD. The same way he chastised the Israelites by scattering them throughout the four corners of the earth. In the same way, he created an opportunity for salvation for mankind. It's the same way he's awakening his people whom he scattered. I leave that with you, brothers and sisters, as I get off of here. We cannot be respecters of persons. We have to make sure that if your brother, if you say that you love God, and you say that you love your brother as yourself, and these two all the law hang on, then we have an obligation, whether you call it the law, or whether we call it the law, and you call it holiness, or righteousness, or commandment keeping, whatever you want to call it, point them away from sin and point them to the one who's their Redeemer. We have an obligation. And I'm going to say this as I leave. Israelites, we're not building nothing. The Most High is building his nation. Christians, the Most High isn't raising up Christians by titles. He's raising up followers of Christ by his Spirit. At the end of the day, we all have to have his Ruach to get into the kingdom. We all have to accept his Son to get into the kingdom. Without those components, we fail. Shalom.